Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 2019 State of Small Business, hosted by the Pikes Peak Small Business Development Center and UCCS Economic Forum. My name is Frances Padilla, Colorado SBA District Director, and I'm your Mistress of Ceremonies today. So today's event is themed Diversity and Innovation in Small Business. I know because you signed up for this event that you recognize this is the topic that we are going to be discussing today. So in order to set the groundwork for some of the topics of conversation from our illustrious speakers, I want to talk a little bit about what we mean in the definition of diversity and inclusion. Just real generally, because I know our speakers are going to talk more about the subject and give you some great information. But in essence, in our mind, and especially if we're working in smaller communities and communities of multiple people of different sizes, shapes, colors, backgrounds, diversity to us are really the different characteristics, right, that comprise our community, all the different people that are sitting in our community that contribute to our community, and especially in small business world, those that contribute to even our revenue base. And inclusion to us really is taking all of that, the diversity that exists, that rich differences that it results from all the different melting pot and people belonging to our community, and putting it into practice that we ensure that they're included, their voices are included, and that they are heard, and that they're participating in the economies, in our local economies. And so today our speakers are going to focus on those, one from the federal perspective, and also from the economic perspective, and of course our host is going to talk about the Pikes Peak perspective. So as we start our event, I want to thank our numerous sponsors here today, our SBDC partners, the El Paso County Economic Development, which is the SBDC host institution. So quick clap for them. Thank you for hosting our center. And of course, the U.S. Small Business Administration, and I have my own team of disruptors sitting right over here, and I'd like to recognize them. In addition, I want to introduce a special person to us, our 2019 Colorado Small Business Person of the Year, Rick Schmidt from Tipping Point Solutions. Rick, would you please stand? We call him Mr. Colorado Small Business for 2019. We want him to wear a sash, but he hasn't quite bought in on that. So one thing about Rick that I think, if you have an opportunity to catch him today before you leave, I think he embodies to us at SBA what it really means to have a diverse business model and come from a diverse background and really participate in the community and include on the workforce side, on the board development side, and in the partnering side. Rick is not only an 8A firm, he's also a veteran-owned firm, and he's also a Native American firm. And in addition to running his business, he also goes back to his native tribe in Michigan and tries to make sure that he gives back and he's a catalyst in his own community. So we love to pick his brain about how to make sure that we're including our Native brothers and sisters when we design our strategy. So thank you for being here today, Rick. Yeah. So before we get the program, I'm going to take the opportunity to make an announcement. What a perfect theme and a setting to announce our agency's latest investment in the support of small business inclusion and innovation. So on Tuesday, SBA granted 24 awards across the country under our federal and state technology partnership program, also known as FAST. And the FAST program objective is to make sure that we're improving outcomes for underrepresented entrepreneurs in SBA's SBIR innovation research, and also the STTR Tech Transfer Program, also known as America's Seed Fund. And the goal of the program, again, is to increase participation for women and veteran-owned in rural communities and socioeconomically disadvantaged firms. And I'm so proud to announce that, again, out of the 24 grantees, Colorado received a $125,000 grant this year made to the Colorado SBDC network to continue its great work with the statewide Tech Source program. So congratulations to the SBDC network. We've always known that we are in the state of thought leaders and disruptors, and now we have an opportunity to continue to diverse the span of firms they're supported as they develop and commercialize new technologies. So congratulations, Colorado. I'd like to go on with our thanking our numerous sponsors, our media sponsors and supporters, the Colorado Springs Business Journal, the El Paso County PIO office, and YouTube video will be available during this event or following this event. Ben Productions, Benny Bamba, who provided in-kind video production today. And as an add-on, we want to thank Rodney Goulet from Firma IT Solutions and Brandon Borns with the Black Business Network for live streaming today's event on the Pikes Peak SBDC Facebook page. Yep. Our breakfast sponsor today is the Colorado Springs Chamber and EDC. Our gold sponsor is the Better Business Bureau of Southern Colorado. Our silver sponsors are T. Rowe Price and G.E. Johnson. And of course, our exhibitors, whom we hope you visit today after the remarks, Colorado Springs SCORE Chapter, Colorado Springs Hispanic Business Council, the Minority Business Office of the Colorado Office of Economic Development and International Trade. That's always a mouthful. Oh, edit. The Colorado PTAC, the UCCS College of Business, DreamSpring was formerly known as Accion, City of Colorado Springs, thank you, Mayor, the Colorado Springs Utilities, and Colorado Enterprise Fund. And we also have a number of special guests here with us today, which include representation from the entire Pikes Peak region, chambers and organizations that truly care about small business. So thank you all for coming here today and being a part of our event, and I want to thank the elected officials in the room, our El Paso County Commissioner, Stan VanderWerf, Holly Williams, Mark Waller, Lojinos Gonzalez, and Cami Bremer. I'd also like to acknowledge our Deputy County Administrator, Kenny Hodges. Of course, our City of Colorado Springs Mayor, John Suthers. Thank you for being here, Mayor. Our City of Colorado Springs Chief of Staff, Jeff Green. Also, we have City of Colorado Springs Council members here, Bill Murray, David Geislinger, and my own boss, the hardest working regional administrator in all of SBA, Dan Nordberg. We have a great schedule today of speakers. We have Mr. Alan Gutierrez, Associate Administrator of our Office of Entrepreneurial Development in Washington, D.C., and Dr. Tatiana Bailey, the Director of UCCS Economic Forum. And then that will be followed by remarks by Commissioners Stan VanderWerf of El Paso County, and then, of course, Aikta Marcoulier, Executive Director of Pikes Peak SBDC. You know that you have a solid, good person and a great friend when they'll tell you that you have lipstick on your teeth, right? That's Aikta. I stood here with my table for a whole 5 minutes, and none of these guys said anything, but Aikta was the first one to do this, right? Also, let me remind you, from 9:30 to 10:30 a.m., our exhibit hall will stay open, so you can visit with our resource partners here today. So with that, on with the program, and I would love to introduce a man that I've had the opportunity to get to know really well over this week as we have been traveling Colorado, talking to different groups about economic development, economic resiliency, inclusion, and diversity from the SBA perspective. Our Associate Administrator of Entrepreneurial Development, Alan Gutierrez. So let me tell you a little bit about Alan. As the Associate Administrator of the Office of Entrepreneurial Development, Alan is dedicated to enhancing the nationwide network of offices, business executives, and mentors that support current and aspiring business owners as they start, grow, and compete in today's global market. This nationwide network includes the following resource partners: SBA's Women Business Centers, the Small Business Development Centers, and our SCORE chapters across the nation. Most recently, Alan served as the national executive of the director of the Latino Coalition. Under his leadership, the coalition grew to 1.2 million Hispanic business owners and over 90 coalition partners, transforming the coalition into one of the nation's largest and most effective Latino advocacy groups. Alan previously served the U.S. Small Business Administration from 2001 to 2006, and we tell him because he was a glutton for punishment. He came back for a second tour. So where he served as the senior advisor to the chief operating officer and as well as the senior advisor to the Office of International Trade. As a member of the senior management team, he served as the executive resource board and executed the president's management agenda to create a more transparent and results-oriented agency. During his tenure at International Trade, he also served as the agency's representative during the CAFTA-DR negotiations, which was signed into law as the first free trade agreement between the United States and a group of smaller developing countries. Born in San Jose, Costa Rica, Gutierrez immigrated to California in 1994, where unfortunately he became a Dodgers fan. And where he achieved equally important, achieved his dream of becoming the first member of his family to graduate from an accredited four-year college. He earned his Bachelor of Arts in Political Science with a minor in Business Administration from the University of Southern California. I'd like to welcome to the stage, Alan Gutierrez.
Good morning. How you guys doing? I walked up with a laptop and trying to seem like I'm young and I'm a millennial, so none of this printing out my speech. I'm going to read it off my laptop, see how it goes. Hopefully it doesn't die out on me. But yes, I am a Dodger fan. Sorry about that. But and I was talking to somebody being here. It's great to be here in Colorado, and they said, when I was in high school, this entrepreneurship spirit, I said, one thing I didn't want to do, I didn't want to work for anybody. And I said, I didn't want to go to fast food. I didn't want to do things like that. So I gave them an example. My dad was always in janitorial business, and he was in charge of all the, now they're called Macy's, but in California, they were Robinson's May and across the country. So he had all from San Francisco down to San Diego. And I would always see, when I come back home, all these vacuum cleaners. And I'm like, And they're always broken, and he had to get them fixed and so forth. So I just, just internally, I'm saying, I see there's a need, and let me think of a solution. So the solution is I learned how to fix vacuum cleaners. And then, and this is I think my sophomore year, and I wrote a plan and a proposal to his boss, and I became Al's Vacuum Shop. And so I set my own schedules, I did my own things, and had my little own business during high school on that aspect. So for me, the entrepreneurship spirit is really what it's all about, and certainly you got to take these risks and rewards and so forth. But then I also did Dodgers. I did Dodgers, one of those that would go up and down the aisle and sell Coca-Colas and ice cream. And that was another great gig for me too, from that standpoint. So there's where the Dodger blue was in me. But I had a little Baltimore Ravens in me, given that I live in Washington, D.C. Last year, I was able to do radio for the Baltimore Ravens, a little side gig, not that I'm not that busy during my current capacity, but did the color analyst for the Baltimore Ravens. So there's that sports thing in me a little bit in that aspect. So that was really fun to do, and I did it all in Spanish. So it was funny, Francis, we were scheduling my trip to come out here, and we've been working on it, and I was all excited. She's like, by the way, how's your Spanish? I said, it's not that good. I said, I only do the radio for the Baltimore Ravens, but I try. And she's like, okay, you're smarty. I see that you can do it. So good to be here. Certainly great. We started in Denver, and then now here in Colorado Springs, and certainly I haven't been to Colorado Springs. This is my first time, so I was really excited to be here. Before I get started, I know Francis recognized him, but certainly I always say that nothing gets done without a strong team in that sense. And certainly I know we have a strong team here with the SBA team, and certainly our great regional administrator, Dan, as well. Why don't you guys stand up? I always like to recognize our team. Don't be shy. For those that are SBA, if you can please stand up. So for me, is that yes, this is my second tour, and it's not glutton for punishment. Actually, I was excited. For me, it was just something that had the opportunity back in 2001, and really, I knew a little bit about SBA. I was in the corporate side and was in financial services and working in emerging markets with Aetna and ING and so forth, and got the opportunity to leave Southern California and be in Washington and haven't left. And it's exciting. It's when I had the opportunity to sit down with Administrator McMahon when she had just recently gotten confirmed by the Senate 2 years ago. We were having a conversation and discussion meeting, and I thought it was going to be more like, okay, it's going to be like, I said, yes, I'm available to meet and love the conversation. I thought she wanted to talk about how we can work together with Latino Coalition and outreach and so forth. And then one thing led to another, and she said, when can you start? And I was like, whoa, so I was really honored by that aspect. Every day that I walk into the building, it's an honor for me to know that not only what we're doing in Washington, D.C., but what we're doing all across the country, that we're really making an impact to small businesses and entrepreneurs, in that aspect. So it's been really exciting. As you know, unfortunately, Administrator McMahon did leave the agency. The president called her for little other duties of what's going to be happening next year. But she really made a great impact. And for me, it was really invigorating for me on that aspect. This particularly last year, we have our check-ins. I have my check-ins with the administrator, and she's like, I want to do more outreach. I want to get more into diversity. I want to. She goes, I don't know Spanish, she says, we're missing an opportunity to get the messaging out. We're missing an opportunity in the communities. And she said, I'd like you to be our spokesperson and speak on my behalf. And I was like, whoa, I was floored. I was like, ma'am, anything you want me to do, certainly I'm here to serve and accomplish your agenda and your vision. So that was really an honor for me in that aspect. Another thing that we did internally, and I say this before I give a little bit of what we're doing externally, is as the neighborhood is changing, as there's more diversity, as there's more across the country, you got to reflect and look at yourself too as an agency from that standpoint. We have a good diversity at the agency across the country. We continue to strive and make it more diverse in that aspect. So we understand the different communities more and more. And I was happy to be part of a team to push employer resource groups. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that in the corporate side. It's known that when you create an employee resource group for a certain sector, that you really see a change and a change in a positive way. It's sort of like also when you want diversities in corporate boards. It's known that when you have a diverse corporate board, the impact from the bottom line for a corporation, you can see it in a very incremental way. Because you have different perspectives. Doesn't mean you have to agree on everything, but you have different folks at the table and looking at ways to think outside the box, looking at it from that standpoint. So I'm excited. We started the very first ever at the agency, a Hispanic employee resource group. And for me, it's exciting for that because it's not only do we want to empower entrepreneurs in all communities outside of SBA, we want to empower also our team, our staff that work really hard day in and day out to have those opportunities of upward mobility and to say, you know what, I can be an executive. I can be a leader of a district office. I can be an associate administrator or a deputy administrator. And so it's exciting from that standpoint. I myself, not because she's Hispanic, but my deputy is Latina Hispanic as well. This is an interesting fact, you got the associate administrators and you have the deputies. There's over close to 2 million government employees, civilians across the country. Out of that 2 million, there's 7,000 senior executives in that category. So being part of that particular group is really, you think about it, 7,000 out of 2 million. You're making in a very exclusive club, but also a lot asked for you in terms of making that impact and so forth. So I wanted to give you that perspective of what we're doing internally as it relates to the agency, because I think that's important to know as well from that standpoint. We, as it relates to diversity, and I'm talking about it, is that we we, as mentioned from Francis, is that we collaboratively are also working with all the resource partners. And I say the three lanes, small business development centers, the women business centers, and SCORE network as well, in terms of also looking at them to really think outside the box, look at ways to have the diversity. Because a lot of times, too, from different communities and so forth, you want to see someone that you can break that barrier. You're already, scared. Like someone asked me yesterday, I want to start my business, but I'm really scared. Or what are my pitfalls? What should I do? And they're already in that tense mode because it's not, a lot of folks. It's a big change factor in that sense. There's a lot of unknowns from that standpoint, and so having someone that reflects and looks like me, being available to mentor me or be available to counsel me or be part of a training program is big in that sense. So I'm working very closely with all the partners. I know specifically, obviously, with SCORE, working with the board and the chairman in terms of their diversity inclusion and working and recruiting a lot. Because if you're not aware, a lot of, and a big hand to all the SCORE volunteers, because it's a volunteer base. They don't get paid. They do this out of the kindness of their heart. It goes a long way. And I know when they see someone that they counseled and they come back and tell you, look, I'm now at 20 employees, or I finally started my business, and thank you very much for your help. That goes a long way. Gives you that energy boost on a daily basis. So I would say that that's one of the things that we're working very closely with the SCORE chapter and with all the areas too. The other areas that working very closely on a day-to-day is the Office of Native American Affairs as well. That's under my office as well, that we work hand in hand. We're doing a lot of more outreach, a lot of more workshops, a lot of more inclusion in Indian country. We recently, I know we had a workshop here, and I might botch this town, Towosa, Towaoc, here in Colorado. So we're doing that more across the country from that standpoint. My Office of Faith-Based and Community Initiatives as well. We're doing a lot as it relates to HBCUs. What is HBCUs? Historically Black colleges and universities. We're working very closely with the African American community, with the colleges, on things that had never been done before. It's disheartening in a way, but I know that now is the opportunity. A lot of the universities and the community are saying, look, we hadn't been approached like this before. And so I have some outside the box approach that we're doing in over 100 HBCUs that are across the country on working with the students, the alumni, and the community itself, and how we can really engage and really provide that environment and those tools and services to help them springboard to start, grow, or be part of a business. So I'm excited about that. I got something up my sleeves that just waiting for legal to sign off on that I'll be excited to announce hopefully next month in that aspect from that standpoint. So I mentioned, what we're doing internally, what we're looking at working with our resource partners. The other area too is I've been blessed to be in the nonprofit world, and as Francis mentioned, ran the Latino Coalition nationwide, also ran before the U.S. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce that represented over 200 Hispanic chambers of commerce across the country. And one of the things that I always pushed in that sense and really made it an emphasis of it is really to get out of our comfort zone. And what I mean by that is that too many times, and it happens in our community, in the Hispanic community and all, it's like we'd only go to our national conference for Hispanic chambers, or only the Hispanic chambers, and the African American community only goes to their conferences, and vice versa, because it's like our comfort zone, right? But for me, we've always, and that's something I stressed in the Latino Coalition, yeah, the name was Latino Coalition, but guess what? Out of those 90 strategic partners was the African Chambers of Commerce, was the Asian Chambers of Commerce, was the LGBTQ. So it was all of us together. Why did we push on that in that aspect? Because the importance of working together, a lot of times, even especially as small businesses, we would encourage them to participate and be with us at our small businesses summits and our conferences. Because guess what? A lot of times what was happening is they were doing business together with each other. They didn't know that was an opportunity base. Or other thing too is it's teaming. Teaming in an aspect of coming together what your strengths are as a business owner and what their strengths are together, and trying to accomplish and get a contract with the government or with the state in that aspect. And so you see those partnerships coming together. It doesn't happen overnight, but certainly it's something that I think is very key, very important to have that diversity. Sometimes it's a little bit growing pains, to be honest with you, in that aspect, because it's the unknown, the uncomfort. But once you have that happening, it's a win-win, and it's a win-win not only for the small business owner, it's a win-win for the community, it's a win-win for everyone in that aspect. So I stressed at it from that standpoint overall. Some of the things that we're doing as it relates externally with all our resource partners. For example, I'm excited that for the California Small Business Development Centers, one of the things that they're doing is that our grantee is with the LEAD Center. In California, since it's a big state, it's broken into 6 different regions. But one of the things that they're doing is, what they do is, I got 1 minute left? Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. But I have 10 more pages to talk about. No. All right, I'll stop here. That's what those seconds were? I didn't realize that. Okay. No, 2 things. I'll mention on this real quick. On the California SBDC, they are now have their service centers. That means their outreach, their service centers in terms of doing with the Hispanic Chambers of Commerce. So that now they're reaching out to more outside the comfort zone. Another example is with our YWCAs. They're also service centers in different parts of the country, reaching out to women entrepreneurs. WBCs recently, for example, we just did a very extensive outreach in Idaho, and the organization that was chosen was the Idaho Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Not because they're a Hispanic chamber, but because of what their game plan is, working with all different partners within Idaho. So that's exciting as well. And then just recently, yesterday, I was at Mikasa in Denver and all the great things that they were doing. So hopefully that gives you, in terms of what we are doing with our research partners. In closing, we just announced our makerspace, which is a exciting announcement that we did as it relates to locations that provide resources for startups in terms of how to get into their particular field. And then we just announced our regional innovative clusters that also focus on our different small businesses and how they can get resources specifically. Keep working with all the resource partners, but these are more strategic in that aspect. So I see the red light going off and on in that aspect. For me, hopefully that gives you an overview of what we're doing, how we're expanding, how we want to work with all communities. Certainly, we see a lot of great numbers coming out of here of Colorado in the small business community. Your resources, we're here to be your resources for you and for all your members in that aspect, certainly with Francis, the team, nationwide, and here locally in Colorado. But I really thank you very much for the opportunity to be here. I'm excited to hear the rest of the impact studies and so forth, and really all the great things that are happening here in Colorado. Wish you the best of a great rest of the day, and certainly this 3-day long weekend, right? Enjoy the Labor Day weekend, and look forward to being back here in the near time soon. So thank you very much for your attention.
Gracias, Alan, por su apoyo, también por los recursos que tenemos aquí en Colorado de parte de SBA. Gracias. Our next speaker we have coming to the stadium is our economics guru for the Pikes Peak region. Dr. Tatiana Bailey has her master's degree in economics and her doctorate in public health, both from the University of Michigan. In the healthcare arena, Dr. Bailey is focused on programs that aim to increase access and quality while reducing costs, particularly for at-risk populations. She also presents to audiences who wish to be better informed about the general framework of the healthcare system in the United States. In the economic development field, she is focused upon the economic growth initiatives primarily through the venues of workforce readiness and entrepreneurship. Currently, she's the director of the UCCS Economic Forum within the College of Business and serves as an economic development resource to local businesses and government. She aims to inform audiences about our national and local economy and participates in initiatives that leverage the region's many assets. Tatiana, the stage is yours.
Well, thank you very much to Aikta. I think this is the 4th year that we're doing this together. And I have to say, I'm very heartened that we decided, after meeting with the mayor and Jeff Green about minority-owned businesses and opportunities, we said, what if we made the focus of this event that very topic? So here we are, and I'm so happy to see that we sold out. So thank you for being here. I am the data guru, so I'm going to jump right in and talk about some things relevant to this topic. U.S. minority business statistics and their impact on the U.S. economy is what I'm going to talk about first. And then a little bit about minority businesses in Colorado and El Paso County. And then I'll actually end with what some studies have found from the New York Federal Reserve, Stanford University, all kinds of great sources out there in terms of why are minority-owned businesses doing so well? What could they be doing even better? And what could the rest of the community be doing in order to enable that growth? Because they are a powerhouse. So I don't usually have word walls like this, but this is the New York Federal Reserve information. They did a study with Stanford University, and I thought it was outstanding. The Latino population in the United States has grown rapidly, accounting for more than half of the nation's population growth from 2000 to 2010. As of 2017, Latinos comprised 18% of the total US population, and projections state that that figure will climb to 28% by 2060, which means 1 in 4 residents in the US will be Latino. As soon as 2024, which is just around the corner, 25% of the US millennial population will be Hispanic. Is that astounding? I mean, I'm a Latina and I didn't even know this. Amid lagging business startup rates, and I think this is really relevant, immigrant business growth has bolstered the small business sector. Although immigrants constitute 15% of the US workforce, they account for 1/4 of US entrepreneurs, and that share has grown over time. So here, I'd like pictures, right? Economists just like pictures. So here it is, some of what I was talking about. You can see that the non-Hispanic white population from 2014 to 2060 will decline. We're already in that pattern. And there you have the population growth for Black African Americans, American Indian, Asian, and other natives, with modest increases. And then the Latino population, Hispanics, going up to that 28% by 2060. I'd like to state that red bar right there, I've contributed to that. My husband and I had 5 kids, okay? So I'm part of that right there. Where does this Hispanic population live? Well, right there, the dark red are the true hot spots across the United States for Latinos. And I know I'm talking a lot about my people here. I will talk about other minority groups. But it is pretty amazing that if you look at this map, Colorado is in the heart of all of this. And then if we look at Colorado diversity by age, and this is Hispanics, Blacks, Asians, and other minorities, it's amazing that by 2050, almost 60% of children will be of some minority group. And even if you go all the way to the right, 65 plus, almost 1/3 of people in the state of Colorado will be of some minority group. What about minorities in business? Well, here you can see the number of minority-owned business in the US is estimated to be at about 11 million currently, a little bit higher than that by now. This is off of census data, and the 2017 is a projections, but it's a very tight projection. And then you can see that we were less than 1/4 of all businesses being minority owned in 2007. But again, by 2017, about 40% of businesses in the US are minority owned. Large share of minorities are immigrants, and it is true that they are the powerhouse behind entrepreneurship and innovation in the United States. 43% of Fortune 500 companies were founded by a first or second generation immigrant or immigrants, and 28% of Main Street, non-Fortune 500 businesses were founded by immigrants. And there you can see the different growth rates. Hispanic-owned firms are the largest component of minority-owned firms and the fastest growing in the US. And those lines that you see represent the number of businesses and the number of paid employees. And you can see indeed there that the largest growth rate is Hispanic-owned, but also pretty significant increases for African-American and Asian-owned businesses. And this is from 2012 to the 2017 estimates. And then for Colorado, you can see a 44% increase in the percentage change in minority-owned firms. Okay, so this is all to kind of set the context of the gravitas, really, that minority-owned businesses have in the United States, and it's only growing. Now, diversity impacts the average number of employees. So when I first started looking at this, back when I lived in Michigan many years ago, the average number of employees per firm in the United States, because we are primarily a small business in the United States, is 7. That's the middle bar, non-immigrant firms. Founder firms are actually lower at 4.5%. So you think, oh, well, they must just be smaller businesses. But look at the one all the way on the right, mixed founder. So when you have whites and minorities mixed into a business, and they're leading that business, that's where you really see exponential growth, and the average number of employees is 17. So that in and of itself speaks to the beautiful things that can happen within a business when you have diversity. So why more employees and success? Well, it's pretty intuitive. Diversity of ideas, right? I mean, right there, you can, if you have people with different ideas in a room, especially when you're starting a business, chances are you're gonna have some really good ideas, right? You're gonna think outside the box a little bit. You also tend to have better marketing, more innovation, and why? Well, I even go back to my own personal experiences. When we were thinking about moving to Colorado from Michigan, I had something in me that's like, I've traveled a lot. My parents are from Bolivia, not a lot of fear, sort of a little more risk-loving. And that is actually borne out in innovation. Entrepreneurs are often immigrants because they're not afraid to take risks, and a lot of times that can mean success in business. And you can attract more diversity from prospective employees. So if you have a person of any type of racial ethnic group going and checking out a new business and they see diversity, they attract more of the same, right? And diverse people often have access to different customer bases, right? And then let's not forget about women. Women are really important too. We might not be a minority in number, but we are minority in terms of business ownership. So here you can see in 2012, so this is a little bit dated from census, the women-owned businesses are green, and the darker green is the more recent information. So it's a comparison between 2007 and 2012. So age 65 and over, you can see the blue is a lot more prevalent. So those are the male-owned. So women-owned is not quite as much. But go to the bottom of the graph, and you can see 25 to 34 there. Actually, it's almost the same between women and men-owned. And then under 25, it is just about identical. So you can see that women-owned businesses are making incredible strides as well. Now, what about minorities in business in El Paso County? Well, here you can see that non-minority owned is about 80%. And then if you combine the racial ethnic minorities and the mixed ones, it's about 18%. So El Paso County is a little bit lower than the US, but it's still quite high. And then here you can see an increase in women-owned businesses, the composition of ownership. So you can see in 2007, about 31% of the firms in El Paso County were women-owned, and now we're up to, by 2012, we were up to 37%, but of course, that number has got to be higher now, right? Now, this is really important. The mayor's on this side. I should also come talk on this side, right? So, what do we do with all this information? This is actually, sort of the crux of the issue. Active and deliberate inclusion makes sense from an economic development perspective. So even stepping back as a woman, stepping back as a Latina, I think about this, okay, well, what does this all mean from an economic development perspective? Well, I always go back to my unemployment charts and GDP charts, and it grounds me because, of course, right here you can see our latest data from July. You know, we are at record low unemployment rates. We're almost at the 50-year low. 4% for the US, 2.8% for Colorado, and 3.4% for El Paso County, right? Times are good, at least for a while. And if you read my article in the Gazette from Sunday, it's not gonna last much longer. And that's when I'm going on sabbatical. So what do we need? We need workers right now. We have plenty of jobs. Here's the top 10 job postings for Colorado Springs. I talk about this all the time. Typically on any given month, 5 to 6 of them are in the professional categories, but we have all kinds of openings here. We have IT positions, software developers, nurses, sales reps, truck drivers, and so forth. And look at the number of job postings. Hundreds and hundreds, right? And if I show you the top 30, we're talking thousands. Total job postings for July of 2019, 19,000 job openings in Colorado Springs, which is really amazing. So we need workers, right? But despite the successes in terms of minority-owned businesses, there are shortfalls. And when I think of shortfalls, I also think of opportunities. What can we do to ensure the contributions and success of minorities in general and minority-owned businesses? Number one, be aware of persistent biases and barriers for minority groups. That's the number one thing. And that's not a political statement. That just is what it is. A lot of it is historic, right? So for instance, this information from the Federal Reserve study done by Brookings shows that the difference between people with no bachelor's degree, the dark bar, compared to the blue bar, people with a bachelor's degree, look at that jump in net worth for an individual. So this is what I show my kids, right, when they're in middle school and they don't like school. So this is a good reason to get additional schooling. You have a huge jump, 4-fold increase in net worth for whites. Look at the differences between no bachelor's degree and bachelor's degree for blacks, Hispanics, and other minority groups. There's a jump, but do they get anywhere close to where the whites are? They don't, not yet. That tells me that there's still work to be done. Number two, minority-owned businesses tend to rely on informal financing at lower amounts, and they are more averse to taking on debt. I stepped back and I thought about this for a second. If I had a business idea and I needed $10,000, I could write a business plan. I could walk in with a suit into a bank, probably my husband's bank, and actually say, I want to take out a loan. I want $10,000, and I'd be fairly confident. If I had to go to my tío Jorge in Bolivia, okay, he's 5'6", he's the tallest in our family. He's a scary guy. He's a really scary guy. What would I ask him for? Probably $5,000. You're more reticent, right? You kind of cut corners. You don't have the access to capital is really what it comes down to. And this makes it harder for minority-owned businesses to scale, right? They don't have as much to work with. So they rely more on lines of credit from banks and other high-interest loans, which that money has an opportunity cost, right? Because if you're paying more for high-interest debt, accumulating debt, you're just not going to have the money to hire more employees, buy more capital, and so forth. Minority-owned businesses do better with smaller community banks. A lot of studies have shown that, the relationship banking. So I see that as an opportunity to focus on and partner with smaller financial organizations within the small business community, especially for minorities. It makes a lot of sense. Number 6, there's a high percentage of minority-owned businesses that sell to individuals, much higher than non-minority owned. So I think of that as an opportunity to help them branch out to a larger customer base. So these are just some of the tactics. Number 7, minority-owned businesses benefit from joining trade associations. Why? Because it increases networking in the customer base. There you go. Number 8, minority-owned businesses owners benefit from active mentorship. A lot of studies have shown that. As soon as they especially if they get mentorship from someone within their same industry, even better if they're a minority themselves. And then stepping back from a community perspective, the last 2 things, have chambers, higher education, community organizations, and government partner to provide the services necessary for minorities to succeed in general. Okay, and I'd like to also mention again that part of the reason that we decided to do this is because very quickly Mayor Suthers and Jeff Green said, yes, we would like to sit down and listen to these statistics. We would like to talk about how we can make things more amenable for minorities doing business with government. And then the next generation of minority-owned businesses, what do we do to foster growth for them? Focus on the simple things: high school graduation completion, and access to post-secondary certification and degree completions. That's really what it comes down to. I mean, there's more, but these are some of the highlights, and there is a lot of great research and data that is out there. So, if you didn't get quite enough economics here, there is more. You have my dashboard, and many of you grabbed that on the way in. My event is coming up October 10th. I don't focus on minorities in that, but I talk a lot about the state and local economy. And this year we're pretty fortunate. I actually invited the Denver Federal Reserve Vice President so we can all grill her on what's happening with interest rates. Her name is Allison Felix. She's also a University of Michigan grad like myself. And it'll be on Thursday, October 10th in the afternoon from 1:30 to 4:30 at the Enns Center for the Arts with a sponsored networking happy hour afterwards. So hopefully you can make it to that as well. And thank you to Aikta for allowing me to come up and do my thing here.
As if just listening to you isn't incentive enough. We get free hooch. Wow, I'm there. Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Bailey. Next, please welcome to the stage Commissioner Stan VanderWerf, who will give a brief overview of the El Paso County small business programs and also will introduce our final speaker. Stan VanderWerf serves as the District 3 on the Board of County Commissioners. His district encompasses central and western El Paso County, including the town of Green Mountain Falls, the city of Manitou Springs, the towns of Palmer Lake and Monument, the west side and downtown areas of Colorado Springs, and unincorporated western areas of the county, including the Ute Pass and areas south of Cheyenne Mountain State Park. Commissioner VanderWerf is a founder of several small businesses and previously served 28 years in the U.S. Air Force. Thank you for your service, Commissioner.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. As you heard, I'm Stan VanderWerf, El Paso County Commissioner, and it's my honor to speak with you for a few minutes this morning about small businesses and also to talk about some of the resources available to help you run and grow your small business. And of course, this session this morning is about valuing diversity. And first off, before I go much further into that, how many of you in the audience today, raise your hand, own a small business, run a small business, or are employed by a small business? All right, I think that's almost everybody in this room. Isn't that outstanding? So part of why we are so successful, part of why we have so many small businesses in our community is our diversity. And a key component of diversity is ethnic diversity. But Aikta did ask me to talk about some of the other forms of diversity that are also very important for helping small businesses be successful. These are skills diversity, idea diversity, and expertise diversity. It's so important that we think about having people either in our business or supporting our business that think about problems in different ways. This is really, really important, and it's helpful for you to gain success in your small businesses. For example, we need creative people in our companies. And in case it's not already obvious to us all, creativity is the engine for innovation, and innovation is the engine for small business. There's a clear connection between creativity and small business success. In addition to that, we need business savvy people in our companies. And this includes folks that can run sales, logistics, complete and fill orders, manufacture, ensure product quality, deliver timely services, and also develop markets. Those are a very interesting set of skills, and if you don't have that in your company or have a small amount of it, you should be thinking about how to grow those skill sets or acquire those skill sets from the community somehow, because they're very important for your business success. And as we all know, running a small business is no small feat. But if you have the right mix of talent, delivered in no small part by a diverse mix of people, and other forms of diversity, you can and you will succeed. And one of the greatest rewards in life is creating, running, and sustaining a business, because it not only puts food on your table and takes care of your family, it is a major method for you to make a difference in your community. And that's very, very important to so many of us. I'm sure that's important to everybody in this room. So diversity and innovation are key components to business success and your personal success. Now in El Paso County, and also all of the other municipalities that are in El Paso County, I know that we support small business. And on our El Paso County website, we do have a wide variety of support services on how to do business in El Paso County, and I want to talk briefly about those. On that website, we have sections on business regulations to help you with compliance, and information on our Pikes Peak Workforce Center, which can assist you with finding employees. We also have an entire host of economic development tools that are actually available to use. I bet you some of you in this room have taken advantage of those already, but you may or may not know about all of them. So, for example, our contracting department, led by Eileen Gonzalez. Now, we award in El Paso County a lot of contracts to local companies, and this helps us to deliver services to the residents of El Paso County. Now, while we don't have specific set-asides, it is our policy in our procurement division to make a special effort to solicit and encourage small business participation in the products and services that we need. And I believe the percentage of small business contract awards in El Paso County exceeds 70%. It's a very, very high number. And our procurement policies manual is posted on that website so that you can see exactly how we contract, and our contracting office is always available to help you determine what kinds of products and services we procure. So as such, if you deliver goods or services that we might need, and you haven't done this already, you should get yourself registered with the county, which will make it easy for you to participate in future bid opportunities. Also available on the El Paso County website is access to BidNet. Maybe some of you know about that system, but that gives you access to statewide bids. And I looked on that this morning. There's 15,000 opportunities on BidNet right now for statewide contracts. I don't know about you, but I think we have a fantastic and diverse small business community in El Paso County, Colorado Springs, and the surrounding municipalities. I think we should go after some of those statewide bids, or go after a little bit more. Wouldn't that be great? All right, and then we also have an economic development department, and this is led by Crystal Latier. And there are several forms of opportunities that you can potentially take advantage of. You may know about several of these. The first one is enterprise zones, which is a state tax incentive to encourage businesses to locate and expand in economically distressed areas. And there are a variety of tax credits and incentives available when you locate in an enterprise zone. And in case you don't know, in 2018, there was $12 million in contributions to enterprise zones based on the way the legislation is written presently. So there is already an extensive amount of participation in these programs, and there are opportunities for you to participate in them as well. We also have a commercial aeronautical zone for qualifying companies engaged in aviation businesses. And inside that commercial aeronautical zone, El Paso County and other municipalities rebate sales tax. And this is an important way for you to help grow your business and reserve some of those dollars for other things like investment, capital investment in your company. We also offer business personal property tax credit, and El Paso County waives this universally for all businesses, and this applies to small businesses as well. So if you're running a small business in El Paso County, you automatically apply for business personal property tax credit. We also have services that provide business loan funds, and these are designed to create and retain jobs and expand the diversity of our economic base in El Paso County with a priority to manufacturing. These loans can range from $10,000 to $200,000 and are offered through the Pikes Peak Regional Development Corporation. Then there's even more. We have opportunity zones in our community. I believe there's 8 of them in the greater Colorado Springs area. And when you invest in one of these, you obtain tax deferrals, tax reductions, tax-free appreciation, and other benefits are also made available to you if you participate in those. And then there's a whole host of other business resources available with the different public agencies in our community. For example, El Paso County works as a partner with our other municipalities So their websites all have links on our website, and that's 8 municipalities overall, and that includes Colorado Springs, Tri-Lakes, Manitou Springs, and even the Eastern Plains Chambers. So all the chambers have a participation in that as well. And then let's talk briefly about the Small Business Development Center. You know, if you have a small business now or you're planning to create one soon, I recommend you think about using the services of the Small Business Center as one of your resources. And there's an enormous amount of resources available to you in that Small Business Development Center. They have, for example, free one-on-one consulting, which can help you start, grow, or sustain a business. They have a whole slew of practical training courses. And they have business resources, including the Colorado Resource Gateway, Small Business Navigator, and the Small Business Development Center blog. To give an example of some of the classes, and this is just a sampling because there's a huge number of courses in there, and there's a course being offered every week of the year. But they have, for example, Business Insurance 101, Intellectual Property 101, which helps you with trademarks, copyrights, and patents, how to build business plans, how to develop a sole proprietorship, LLC, or a corporation, and which of those to choose when you're getting ready to start a business, managing business growth and giving you techniques and skill sets on how to scale up. This is not an easy thing to do in small businesses. And there's also more basic things like tax preparation and basic bookkeeping. So as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, right now is an outstanding time to take your talent, your ambitions, your diversity, your skills, and channel them into a small business. Now, at this point, I was going to introduce Aikta Marcoulier, the Executive Director for our Pikes Peak Area Small Business Development Center, but she's asked me to not introduce her because we're going to show a short video, and I think at this point we could get that to run if you all can set up for that, and then Aikta will come on the stage and introduce herself. Thank you much for your participation here this morning. It's awesome to see you all here. We have a great small business community. I wish you a fantastic day, and let's keep going. Thank you.
The Pikes Peak Small Business Development Center provides free consulting, practical training, and business resources for small businesses in the Pikes Peak region, giving entrepreneurs and business owners the tools and advice needed to start, grow, and thrive.
Dazed and confused. It's probably what I can say brought me to the SBDC. I actually needed to complete my business plan. I was a minority woman starting a business with no money. So I needed all the support I could get from any community resources. Between Aikta, Becky, and Dustin, I was able to actually utilize the mentor services here, and that was huge. I mean, that is worth so much more value than any dollar, I have to say. If you become a student of the Leading Edge business course and you have the opportunity to take on that business consulting for free, there's no other value in my opinion. It was worth every dime.
I needed help with the SBDC to understand how to get into federal contracting. As most things that you hear about, you just do this. So many times you hear in a commercial, you just buy this and it'll fix this. And it seems that way, but once you get into what you're doing, you start to realize that you don't have the knowledge. And SBDC provides a lot of resources, a lot of different people out there from many different aspects, attorneys, accountants, QuickBooks people, whatever it is you're looking for. You can sit down and talk to, like I said, go to a class, and that person is going to provide another perspective that somebody else that gave that exact same presentation didn't give, and you'll learn something from it. So it's just being open to the information.
Boy, I think both of us really wanted to be entrepreneurs, or always had a kind of that entrepreneurial spirit, right? So once you jump the broomstick, so to speak, right, you make that commitment to be an entrepreneur. Now you have this now what sort of question. And you start to realize all the things that you don't know, right? That's where humility plays in with this entrepreneurial game, right? You can't be comfortable with what you don't know. And what's great about the SBDC is it is there to make you the smartest person in the room on everything from finance to bookkeeping to
social media. There's always going to be gaps that you'll never be able to fill on your own, especially in the beginning. And so it's a great way for people, for businesses to be able to go in there and for very low cost or no cost, get the skills and information that they need to make smart decisions as they progress through this business adventure.
We had a lot of big questions starting this product because we're essentially creating a category and going on uncharted territories. So we really had a lot of unknowns. Through the SBDC, I attended a number of classes and met with numerous consultants to give us insight during pivotal times over the last few years.
To take advantage of free consulting, practical training, and business resources, visit pikespeaksbdc.org. Pikes Peak SBDC. Advancing small business is our business.
Hi, everyone. Hey. If anyone knows, I get extremely nervous before I come up here, so any heckling is allowed, cheering, go SBDC, go small business, yell it out, all right? And also, remember, there's lots of coffee in the back of the room that you may need after all of this information. But I promise you, you're in the home stretch, all right? And you may leave a little bit late because I'm unscripted, and I have a tendency to go off my unscript, okay? So I have 20 minutes back there. I'm gonna do my best. If you have to leave, no hard feelings, okay? But here I go. Maybe. I'm going to talk about technology today, too. Look at that. No, it wasn't the other button. It wasn't my fault, Lojinos. All right. So that video was created by Benny Bamba, over there. He's amazing at video production. He does a lot for tributing our police officers and first responders. He's going to Utah to do a lot of videos. If you need video production, call Benny. He's amazing. That video made us smile. Did it make you smile? To see Monique, where's Monique? Monique's over there somewhere. There you are, Monique. Dazed and confused. Not anymore. Heritage Arsenal, Bill and Courtney, thank you for being here as well. Our mission is to get more smiling faces on the business owners that come see us, right? Our mission is very simple, to help existing, I'm gonna really try not to hide behind the podium because I'm as short as it is. Our mission is very simple, to help existing and new business grow and prosper in the Pikes Peak region. And for us, that includes El Paso and Teller County. As Commissioner said very well, he kind of took the air out of my balloon. Thanks, Commissioner. Our services and training include free consulting, practical training, and business resources. We are all about educating small business. So of course, every time I start, I have to thank all of our partners. Our strategic partners include the Office of Economic Development and International Trade. It gives direct access for our clients to some of our state agencies, which is very, very important, including the Minority Business Office. Our lead center and entire SBDC network, which now consists of 15 offices statewide. And then as well, our wonderful hosts for the past several years. We could not be here without their matching grant and a lot more. El Paso County and our department, El Paso County Economic Development. Our corporate partners include Ent Business Banking. I saw DeAndre here somewhere. Hi, DeAndre. I think they've been here longer than the SBDC somehow with us. The city of Colorado Springs has been a very large partner of us for many years. Park State Bank and Trust and Vector Bank actually came on as corporate partners because at some point this year, Deb Miller and I have been working very closely together on creating a satellite office to service Teller County. We're halfway there on our startup costs, and we hope that we're gonna get there soon so we can open up our office to service that county as well. And then, of course, the Small Business Administration. So I've got a couple slides. I was an economics major, but I am no Tatiana, so we're gonna stick with the simple bar graph, okay? So from 2016 to 2018, I just wanted to show you how much we've grown. And this is why our team keeps pulling their hair out, right? Active clients has grown for the last 3 years. Requests for assistance, client sessions, hours of consulting. Look at that big jump with that white bar there. Number of workshops. So Commissioner said we have a workshop a week, right? 3 or 4. at times. Dustin's a very busy guy. And then our workshop attendees was at 2,941. So far for 2019, this is through Q2 of this year, we have blown away all of our metrics. We've already surpassed all of them. And as a state, we have as well. And that includes some of the new metrics that the SBA has given us. So before I even talk about these numbers, I want to remind you, as I do every year at this event, that our impact numbers are verified by the clients that we create them for. So Monique knows when she comes in, she stops in at Becky's office and she goes, yeah, you did help me hire that person. Yeah, you did help me get that loan. And she has to actually sign off on it. And then at the end of every quarter, we have a third party that actually double checks our impact. So all of these numbers are true. We have some of the most strict guidelines on collecting impact and reporting them throughout the entire nation of SBDCs. So for business starts, we had 27. If we counted every registered business that we help, hey Todd, standing right here. If we counted every business that registered with the state of Colorado, we would have hundreds listed here. These are businesses that are generating revenue and have actual transactions. So these are legit. These are businesses doing business here in the region. We have created and retained, so job supported, over 300 already this year. Capital infusion of $12 million. We've helped businesses increase their sales at $14 million. We've helped them increase contracts of over $5 million. We've had 480 clients, active clients already this year. Last year we had 590. Becky is a very busy person. She's over there. You can give her a high five on the way out. We've already had 480 clients. We've counseled over 1,000 hours, almost 1,500, 87 workshops. Thank you, Dustin, wherever you are. Hi, Dustin. And then we've had over 1,000 workshop attendees. That number does not even include the 3,000 individuals that Small Business Week had this year. We host the largest small business week in the entire state of Colorado, and I guarantee you in the entire nation. We're working on that, Francis, right? Get the word out. Better Business Bureau and the SBDC are like co-companies. We say we work very closely together and we can do without you. So that's another 3,000 to tack on. This is what our team looks like. So as we grow exponentially, we get connected to, coffee. I actually make Becky a coffee every afternoon, and she's got her second one already today. That 2018 is when we bought our Keurig, and it's being used not only by our clients, but by ourselves quite a bit. So because of that, I finally realized, and the staff told me, stop giving us more work. We can't handle all these clients and all these programs that you have us doing. So we beefed it up a little bit. So instead of just myself, Dustin, and Becky, we beefed up our team by just a little bit, and it's something you need to do to help your customer service, right? Your front of house. So Brianne Smith actually came on to us as a volunteer. She's like, I want to help. And we said, great, thank you, for free. Yep. And then the Pikes Peak Workforce Center gave her a grant to work with us, and we could develop her skill sets. And now, because she was so amazing, we've contracted her to work with us, and that's who sends out our newsletters. You see social media posts, that's all Brianne. We are very thankful to Megan Stidd. I know you have to go, Megan, but thank you for staying for just a minute from UCCS. She has given us so many amazing interns, and we've placed all of them but one. One ghosted us, and he knows who he is. He's not here today. But we've helped connect and network our interns so that they get placed. And our intern, Harjap, right now is a UCCS graduate at this point. He has 2 offers on the table, so we're very, very proud of him. And then we actually hired someone, Tanya Reyes. Yeah, Becky's cheering in the back. We got our assistant to answer the phones, to make appointments. She's getting there. She's a UCCS master student, so we know that she's got the mentality to be able to pick up on all of our stuff, because it's a lot. Yep. So I'm already running out of time, but I'm going to keep going. This is a kind of a funny cartoon I came across. When we get interns, we give them like ridiculous projects. So I thought this was pretty funny. So imagine this lady's actually Dustin, and she's saying, your job is digital transformation. It's not just about disruptive technology. We need a whole new way of thinking across the entire organization. This is one of our top priorities. We're all counting on you. So good luck on this summer internship. Yep. So our interns have come to us taking on some large projects. And this is leading into something called diversity, right? The unknown voices, the people that you don't think when they come to the table can bring the best of ideas. Guess what? It's our interns. It's people that you don't think, they don't know our organization very well. They don't know this, they don't know that. But it's that fresh perspective. When you bring them to the table, it's amazing what you can do. So we've also beefed up our consultants and facilitators. Every year, this number goes up just a little bit. Dustin made a guide that you can pick up. Look at that ridiculous index of subjects that we can cover now. I mean, it is a lot. Everything from starting a business to exiting your business and succession planning. So we have, unlike any other SBDC in the entire nation, Alan, I want you to see this. I inherited a group of volunteers. We have attorneys, CPAs, bookkeepers, social media experts, a lot of you who are in the room today that give us your time for free. So thank you so much. Additionally, we have a number of paid consultants because of the grants that we have earned from our state lead center. With all that said, beefing up operations and getting support gives you happier employees. Look how smiley they are. So happy most of the time, right? This is a picture of us after we won the Pikes Peak Diversity Council's Daring to Dream Award. Thank you, Shirley Martinez, for telling us to apply for that. That award is given to organizations that have started to implement programs and support for minorities, and in this case, the minority-owned businesses. So we are very proud of that award because we worked very hard on the programs that I'm about to talk about. So if I could talk about all of our stuff, you'd be here all day. We have so much stuff, right? Today, I'm going to focus on programs that support minority-owned businesses, business in the rural communities, socioeconomic disadvantaged businesses, people that need a little bit more support because they can't get to it on their own. These are programs that we are so passionate about. So this is what I'm going to focus on. The clients that we have within these programs as well are those that are going to be the ones you want to team with on government contracting, the ones that PTAC's going to call up and say, hey, we have a prime contractor that needs to team up with a small business. Do you have one? So this is the type of work that we're doing to support that level of business. So we partner with the Minority Business Office of Colorado. Our executive director, Rosie McDonough, is here at the Office of Economic Development. Thank you for coming. And Connect-to-Dot, a program that we have to assist businesses with getting set up to work with CDOT, horizontal construction, aerial imaging, that sort of thing. Both of these programs focus on minority-owned businesses. And the definition of that for us is minorities, women, veterans, and the LGBTQ community. So we focus our programming from these two on those primarily, on those individuals and in those communities. We work on getting them certifications, disadvantaged business enterprise, emerging small business. We work very closely with our partners at PTAC to make sure that they're getting the education that they need. We, with the grant, run the Minority Business Enterprise and Diversity Summit. Chris Martinez was our keynote speaker there. He was the lead on a disparity study in Denver. We have launched the Women Informed series for the second year in a row with the Southern Colorado Women's Chamber, focusing on minority-owned businesses and bringing them information on certifications and contracting. Also, we run 8-week strategic planning series called Leading Edge to get people ready to work with CDOT. Monique's shaking her head. She's been through a couple of them, actually. And then we have a partnership with the World Trade Center to actually help businesses with exporting. Southeast Colorado Springs. Who here is working on Southeast Colorado Springs? A lot of us. Well, I know the city table is all gonna, well, a little cheer. Thanks, Chelsea. Appreciate that. Before the Transforming Safety Grant actually came around, we started doing satellite hours at the Sand Creek Library in Southeast Colorado Springs. From that came the Transforming Safety Grant that was led by the RISE Coalition, and Joyce Salazar, who is the fearless leader of that organization, is here today. Thank you, Joyce, for herding us around the Southeast programming. We have since created a collaboration with Solid Rock CDC and with the Department of Corrections, the RISE Coalition, and a number of other organizations, including Chelsea with the city. The focus of that program is to assist justice-involved citizens, or as Tracy says, ex-offenders, okay? But the new word is justice-involved citizens. We are assisting them with their entrepreneurial dreams by working with them as they transition out of the prison system and working with them and their families if they've already been in. This is a program that, if you can see in my eyes, truly creating impact and changing lives. It is something very, very, very special to us, and it's something we're going to continue on. As you can see, we've worked with La Vista Prison, Fremont Prison, CAE, Shine Mountain Reentry. We've graduated 129 people from this program. Yeah. 18 business starts, and our next steps is to continue with at least 11 more cohorts, and we have talks with Mount Carmel to extend this to our veterans as well that have also been justice-involved citizens. These are some pictures. Solid Rock CDC, big shout out for your support. The top is some really excited, proud women who graduated from our program in La Vista, and then the bottom is a cohort that we had at Solid Rock. And there are so many pictures like this that I wish I could share today. Our veterans program, of course, every year I have to talk about this. It is our largest program because of where we live. It's veteran-led. We take part in Boots to Business and Reboot with the SBA and the Veterans Business Outreach Center. We have now Fort Carson satellite hours. That's in addition to our satellite in Tri-Lakes, our satellite in Sand Creek, and then our soon-to-be satellite in Woodland Park. So we're there once a month during the resource fairs to really get the information out to our transitioning military. We are home to the statewide Veterans Conference, which is sold out for over 10 years. And we hold 4 tracks there. PTAC takes over a whole one on certifications and contracting. We have one on startups. We have one on, what did we have? Failures, right? Right, Eric? We talked about failures in business and how you can learn from them. So a number of great workshops at that event. Now kind of transitioning into our innovation programs, because we're here to educate the businesses on diversity, innovation, and get them out there. So SBDC TechSource was coined a few years ago when we were accredited with a tech accreditation. The 2 focus areas that we have are SBIR, STTR, tech commercialization, that's small business innovative research grants, and cybersecurity. Oh, hi, Rodney. Cyber. On the tech commercialization side, it's led by our Boulder SBDC office. It focuses on SBIRs, helping people write those, proposal writing, and getting them out there. In addition, the commercialization piece. Andre, who's here with the Minority Business Office, works very closely with those clients that are looking to commercialize their innovation. You can see a lot of this program through our accelerator programs, many which are held in Boulder because they have that FAST grant you talked about, Francis. But we're also the curriculum at the Catalyst Campus Accelerator with the Air Force Research Lab is based off of our Tech Ventures curriculum. And now it's been built year over year and is just an amazing program. We were chosen for the Innovation and Opportunity Conference with NASA, so we are host to the NASA event. Jay Lindell at the Office of Economic Development said it is the best, hands down event on SBIRs with NASA that he's ever seen. So we're going to do it again. That we were the stop for the SBIR Road Tour in Boulder, Colorado. And we've created in-person live stream and on-demand workshops because of the grants that we have. We focus much of this work on our rural communities and our minority-owned businesses, and we need to reach everyone throughout the state of Colorado. This is my program, so I'll try to be quick because I get really excited about it. The Pikes Peak SBDC, we here in Colorado Springs are the hub for cybersecurity small business education for the entire state network. Thank you. Thank you very much. Dustin fondly coined the term cyber CYA, cover your assets, right? Because that's what we're all trying to do all the time. We launched this program in the last 6 months of 2018, and these are the stats just from those 6 months. We had 26 workshops, 4 statewide events. We streamed to a lot of rural communities, and we also worked with the City of Aurora and the Chamber, the Chamber, Aurora Chamber as well to have workshops there. We have one at Fort Collins coming up for their one-day summit as well. Our main partners were the Better Business Bureau, Pikes Peak Community College, National Cyber Center, and of course, the Colorado Springs Chamber and EDC. Vinny keeps it together. He really does. He keeps us all in one great conversation. We had 2 cyber prep interns last summer because workforce development is a lot of what we do. I'm not even going to touch on that today. And we got a lot of media hits because of how amazing this program has been. In addition, because of our work on this program, we are now part of the National America Small Business Development Center's special interest team on cybersecurity. So we're a part of the legislation process. We give advice. We talk about what small businesses really need. Don't make us do something without the funding. Thanks, government. So we are part of that conversation, which is very important. We held the first ever statewide cybersecurity for small business summit. I don't know, Commissioner, I think we were hoping we would get 10. This room was filled with 237. There's 209 in here right now. Imagine what 237 looks like. full day of cybersecurity training from everything from I don't know what you're talking about to I've been in government contracting for a long time, I need to know what my compliance needs to be. We are the first ever in the nation at the Pikes Peak SBDC to create the Cybersecurity Implementation and Awareness Series. I'm on the national team, no one's doing this. No one's doing this. So what we're looking to do is actually copyright this entire program and license it out to the rest of the region, and the nation. It is an 8-week cyber business planning series. We recruited Monique and some other people that have taken our classes to be our guinea pigs, and it worked out pretty well, actually very well. We conducted full-on business risk assessments with these businesses. We went in, we spent hours looking at their environmental threats, their internal threats, their point of sale systems, their websites. Do you have that HTTPS? Nope. Well, we got to work on that, right, Rodney? Yep. So we did all of that, but what they did is they came out with this amazing plan, right, that they could utilize for the next 8 weeks to work on filling up those gaps for risk. We worked on the implementation of processes, infrastructure, and the coolest thing, BBB, we are piloting a BBB badge of awareness. So imagine walking into a retail store and seeing that badge and knowing that that store worked really hard to secure your data. It means more now to people than ever before. Oh, I got another 7 minutes. Thanks. How did that happen? Not only do we conduct programs that support diversity, minority businesses, and not only do we have innovative programs like our SBIR, tech commercialization, but we're trying to be a little bit more innovative on our delivery. Yemi once told me, no one's gonna come to your classes, right? We're business owners, we don't have time. We don't have time, and he's right. So what we've done is create an entire gallery, not we, Dustin, has created an entire gallery of on-demand workshops, and it's just the beginning. You can go on our workshop page and find workshops at on-demand. You can click into them at anywhere, at any time. We're continuing to do more videos and testimonials to tell the story of our small businesses, because you can listen to me all day and it's not that fun. Listening to Monique and her struggles, and I'm just picking on you all day today. Okay. Listening to what she's been through to get to where she is more of a learning experience than sitting down with one of us. It's that mentorship that everybody needs. We're creating more blogs by recruiting. Anyone wants to write a blog for us? We would love your blog. For our new website, which will be launching soon. We're utilizing social and traditional media to talk about the most important things for small business. MyBiz Colorado is a new platform that the Office of Economic Development created to help with the ease of business when you're starting a business. Helps you learn how to license your business, where to register, how to find EIN numbers. The next one is a very important platform that our community created. This is the COSBA team, the one and only. Colorado Springs for Small Business Advancement, led by Yemi and Chelsea, really spearheading this program. We got city agencies and county agencies together to talk about what businesses really need when they start up. How do they know where to go for permits or licensing? And Danny Barger is amazing at putting in all these graphics, so thank you, Danny. So COS Open for Biz has now launched, and if you see something we don't have, let us know. We're constantly updating it. It's a step-by-step business guide to help turn your great idea to a successful grand opening in Colorado Springs. It's coming at a time when all of us are working more closely together than we ever had before in our community for small business, so congratulations. So to bring it back all together, we've talked about the profitability of creating diverse teams, right? So I'm not gonna read this entire thing. But as you can see, bottom lines have changed of 19% of higher revenue when you create diverse teams in your business. So Barbara Myrick, some people know Barbara Myrick, B&M Construction. She's on the MBO advisory board. She's a close friend of the SBDC. She kind of put it into these words. I know this is what you call a word wall, Tatiana, or something like that. But there's the good and the bad of creating diversity in your businesses. And there's always bad when you're starting something new because you don't really know what you're doing. But the good is it provides continual opportunity for humility and growth. It invites dialogue, contributes to an environment of trust and collaboration, increase in productivity, employee morale, and at the end of the day, better business results. Now, as you start off, you may come across some bad things, such as too many cooks in the kitchen. Can't really move forward with an idea because too many people have really awesome diversity ideas. But I'll tell you what, the truth is you'll get through the bad to get to the greater good. And that's a straight quote from Barbara Myrick. So just a little fun because every program is hard to start. So our goal is to establish language that's gender neutral, ethnic neutral, and age neutral, all the while celebrating our spirit of diversity. Yeah, that's something we all deal with all the time. So it's hard to get there, but you'll figure it out for what's good for your organization. So the SBDC ways to send you off with some to-dos, right? Some homework and some easy ways to include diversity in your programs. That's what we do. It's what you'll get at every workshop that you take with one of us. But remember, when you increase diversity in your business, there's these 5 things. It's not a top-down approach. So if Crystal tells me in our department, you need to hire, I don't know, someone shorter than you. That's not really the conversation you should have, right? I'll just make fun of myself in this one. It's really about what makes sense for your business. It's an all-over approach. It's talking with all your employees, what's going to drive your business forward. It's not ongoing training. It is ongoing training. It's not a one-off. So you can't just have one conversation and think you're going to be a business with a diverse program. Forget what you want to look like. You know, the fact I wore a suit today, I changed my look today, which is surprising a lot of you. I can't wait to take this off. It's really not about what you look like. If it was up to me, I'd have, my baseball hat on because I'm about to go camping tomorrow. But it's about what's important to your business. It's about the skill set you're looking for. They may not look like you. They may not be who you normally bring on, but if there's someone interested, give them a chance. Give them a chance. Improve your candidate pools, whether that's on your boards or when they're hiring. You don't just need to post on Indeed, or you don't just need to post internally for 3 days. Tell your friends, post it on Facebook, post it on social media. Get the word out about what you're looking for, and you'll be amazed at what comes to the table. And then, of course, implement diversity in your procurement practices. If you need help with that, we've got Colorado PTAC here, we've got the SBDC, we have our partners at SCORE. We've got a lot of people here to help you with this, and a lot of people in this room like GE Johnson, T. Rowe Price, Colorado Springs Utilities, that have worked very hard to create practices in their procurement processes. So they're here to mentor you as well. So a little Aikta joke here. This is stuff I like stupid jokes, right? Dad jokes kind of things. But don't fear the change, be the change. You got a chicken that's like, oh my God, it's not corn. And then you have the other chickens like, it's okay, it's just quarters and nickels or dimes or whatever. Sometimes you need to see things differently and say it's okay and move on from those. So at the end, why is SBDC successful? You've seen how we've grown incrementally through the last few years, and we're so thankful because of your support. We can't do it without any of you. We're resource partners with every one of you. But we're successful because we provide programs and advice and recommendations that really do work. We help keep mistakes small, if not eliminate them at all, so don't spend a lot of money if you don't need to. We provide free consulting and low-cost workshops from experts that usually cost hundreds. And if we can't help, we know who can. A quick plug, this is for Sarah. Yep, Census 2020 is coming up, everybody. Yeah. Jonathan Liebert and I are proud co-chairs of the Business Committee for the Complete Count Committee, and it is very important to know that you need to fill out the census. It's safe, you guys, it's safe. I know there's 2 other things I'm supposed to say, but I can't remember what the 2 other things are, Sarah. Safe, important, and easy. Thank you, media person, Lauren Hug. So 2020 census will inform tax policies, planning, and funding for roads, schools, and hospitals. Full participation will direct more than $13 billion in federal funding to our state. 2020 participation may result in another congressional seat in Washington, which is huge, right? It's huge. Yes, the more people we could get to. No, we can't. But thanks, Commissioner. PikesPeakCensus.org is where you need to go to find more information. There's 1,000 jobs available right now that we need to fill. So please get the word out. $16.50 an hour, I believe. Not a bad part-time job for our kids, right? Well, not my kindergartner, but for some other people. Upcoming events. Startup Week is September 9th through the 13th. Peak Startup Natasha Main is killing it. She has amazing programs throughout the entire week. 9th through 13th, SBDC is running the growth track. The Concilio Hispanic Council, Business Council, has 2 important events coming up. Startup weekend for them is September 6th and 7th, and we're celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month on September 24th with a luncheon. Their keynote is the President and CEO of the United States Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Very well done on bringing them in, Joe. And of course, the second annual Cybersecurity for Small Business Summit is on October 25th. That is seriously all I have. I think. There we go. Oh, that's for you. I'll just plug myself and finish it up, Francis. All right, so if you like what you saw here today, we do this all the time. You know, I'm pretty informal, as you can tell, because we just love what we do, and formality isn't key. It's about getting to the ground and boots on the ground and helping the people that need help in the best way we know possible. If you love us, which you should, there's 3 ways to give. And we don't have anything on the tables. You don't need to fill it out now. You can think about it. But we are an enterprise zone, which is very important. We also utilize the Colorado Business Development Foundation. It's a 501c3. And they house some of the grants that we can apply for, or you could just give us money. That's fine too. So those are 3 ways to give. There's information at the El Paso County table on how you can give with the enterprise zone, and then our table for the rest. I want to thank you for coming. Francis, closing words? Okay. Oh, okay. All right.
So I want to thank all of our distinguished speakers and our elected officials and all of our support partners in the room. But a very important audience that we have not thanked are all the small business owners that have been here today, and especially those that are going to be brave enough to go back and reassess and take in all the information that you heard today and say, I really need to participate more, have more inclusion, have more diversity. Well, now you know where some of the resources are, and you know that we all exist here in your support community to make sure that we can have that happen. So I want to close and remind you that we are going to have resource partners in the exhibit hall. Please, they spent their time to come here to give information and resources back to you. Please take advantage of that. And of course, we can't end an event in Colorado without a big old USSI. So everybody sit right there. I'm going to have Aikta, because it's a big room, I'm going to have Aikta start on this side. We'll do an USSI this way, and then we'll turn around and we'll do an USSI that way, all right? So here we go. Thank you very much, and thank you for participating. Have a wonderful Labor Day weekend.